Yo, what is up gamers? My name is Russ and today I'm bringing you a kind of Demon Hunter everything Havoc Q&A or FAQ, frequently asked questions video. It's going to be a different kind of style. I'm just going to be talking pretty much with some b-roll in the background. So get comfy. As you can see, I'm pretty comfy. I'm wearing my nice hoodie here and I got myself a nice cup of tea. So I'm just going to sip along to that as we rattle through some of the most asked questions that I found kind of in my stream, in my YouTube comments, in the Demon Hunter Discord. I've just seen other people get asked all the time, so I'm just going to go through everything that I thought would be kind of common, and hopefully you guys walk away having learned a thing or two from this video. By the way, I also have videos covering a lot of the topics I'm going to kind of touch on in this video. I'm going to be keeping it kind of TLDR here, so I'll be giving the short answers, and if you want a bit more depth, every time that I do have a video out on my channel, which does go into more detail on those things, then I will make sure that I put it at the top right of this video, and also I'll link all the relevant videos in the description down below. So we'll jump into some of the super easy ones to begin with. What's the best build for Mythic Plus? What's the best build for raiding? And honestly, the answer is it's the same one. It's the Cycle of Hatred Demon Hunter Venthyr build. The best overall covenant to play Havoc Demon Hunter right now is Venthyr. You will be having to use Cycle of Hatred, you'll be running Agony Gaze Unity, and most of the time you'll be playing with Collective Anguish Legendary. I do have a full video on this, so again, I'll link that in the description and up in the top right now. But the talents that you'll be running for this one will be Blind Fury, Insatiable Hunger, Unbound Chaos. I run Netherwalk, you can run Soul Rending though, and then Cycle of Hatred, Fell Eruption, and Demonic. That is like the build that you'll play in pretty much all content right now. If there's one build I recommend that you learn and learn well, it's going to be that build, running with the Nadia Soulbinds with Growing Inferno Conduits and Relentless Onslaught Conduits. And then I've actually just released a video on like a deeper understanding of the Soulbinds and Conduits, so you can check that one also out in the description down below. Next question, what stats should you aim for? The usual one that you'll probably be presented is Sim Yourself, Idiot. So you can do that on a website called Raidbots. I'll link that one down below as well. You can insert your character with the Simulation Craft add-on. I'll probably just find a video that I can link you to on how to sim yourself. I don't have one myself, but I know that people do. You can sim yourself with Top Gear and sim yourself with stat weights to find out the best stats for your particular character. They'll change all the time, every single time that you equip a piece of gear. But if you want a general overview, it's going to be aim for haste. I found that keeping up my Sinful brands was way easier when I got close to around 1000 haste on the actual stat. That's about 30%. And then after that, run for versatility and crit. I go for a little bit more versatility than crit. So if I have 600 crit, I'll run for like 700, 750 verse. If I have 700 crit, I'll run for like 800 verse, something like that. If you have the gear and budget for those kind of numbers. And then mastery, as close to 0 as you possibly can. It's pretty terrible. Even, you know, when it comes to, you know, having less of a stat, meaning that the stat's more worth, mastery is just never good. So never go for mastery. Little sip of the tea. Which slot do I craft my Unity in? Now that again depends on your particular character. For me, I put it on my hands because I already have a tier helmet with avoidance and a socket on it. A lot of people will run for either putting Unity on their helmet or their ring. That's like the end game BIS, but that's in a full BIS set of gear if you're raiding Mythic and all that. I'd say if you're not going to touch Mythic, try and get the best tier, you know, 272 or 278 pieces on every slot except the gloves for your tier pieces, and then just chuck Unity on the gloves to offset, you know, potentially bad stats. It's still like a decent weighted main stat item, but it's not going to give you as much as like a helm, chest, or legs, but it's going to offset, you know, that weakest tier slot. If you want to be like super specific, then you can actually go again to Raidbots and you can sim Unity in every single slot for your character with the desired stats that you want to run with it. You can do that on Top Gear or gear sets or something, and that will hopefully bring you your desired result if you really care like super much about every single 1 damage on your character. Now the next question I have written down here is how do I use the cache? Now we're talking about the cache of acquired treasures here. Again, I have a full video on this one, quite in depth on how to use this absolutely to the best of your ability. You'll notice between demon hunters that use this trinket very well and demon hunters that use it kind of averagely, they'll be missing out on a lot of free damage that you can do by optimizing this trinket. The general TLDR answer that I'll give you now will be you want to line up with having I-beam ready, so you can even hold I-beam for when you're going to get the trinket coming off cooldown. Always play with the axe, always pull the axe, that is the crits applying a bleed. So there's a sword, an axe, and a wand. Always take the axe, that's the red one. And you want to be saving an I-beam for it. You want to use axe, pull the axe from the trinket, use an I-beam on everything that you can, and then if you have meta, you want to be metaing and then I-beam again, and then you start looking for these cycle of hatred procs to cool down the I-beam, so you can potentially get a third or second, if you didn't meta, I-beam into the axe window. On single target, just pull axe whenever you can, and just let it work for you. It will just apply passively throughout your rotation. So I thought a cool one next would be, do I press Blade Dance or Death Sweep? And if so, when? You never press Blade Dance ever if you're playing with this Venthyr build. You will be pressing Blade Dance or Death Sweep if you ever spec into First Blood though. Again, I have videos on First Blood with Venthyr, First Blood with Night Fae, all that stuff, so if you're super interested, then check out my channel. But with Blade Dance and Death Sweep with the Cycle of Hatred build, you'll never press Blade Dance, but you can Death Sweep on technically, if you play with the Dancing with Fate conduit as your third potency conduit, 3+ targets Death Sweep, or 5 targets without the Dancing with Fate conduit, that's Death Sweep only. And another kind of like constraint of it is you're only going to want to Death Sweep when your Sinful brands are safe. So either, you know, you've already got your I-beam cooled down so that you can refresh it on lower cooldown than the lowest duration of your Sinful brand, or you don't care about that Sinful brand, say the target's going to die, or you're not super bothered because it's not a priority target or something like that, then maybe you can press Death Sweep. But it's kind of niche pressing that button, so just be aware that there are a couple things you need to consider every time you do think about pressing that ability. Future editing Russ coming in to quickly talk about Unbound Chaos versus Glaive Tempest. This one I get quite a lot, and there are a couple differentiating factors between these, but you're generally going to want to go for Unbound Chaos. Now, the main reason is that Unbound Chaos is free to use. Immolation Aura is baked into your rotation already, and it's just one Fell Rush every now and then. You know, global cooldown spendage, it's roughly the same. The cooldowns are similar, so, you know, a global cooldown on Fell Rush versus a global cooldown on Glaive Tempest here and there is not going to really affect your Sinful brand uptime too much. But the other main reason is that Glaive Tempest does have a Fury cost, so 30 Fury per cast is roughly equivalent to about an Annihilation or a Chaos Strike. You know, once taking into consideration refunds and stuff like that, Fury refunds, that is, the Cycle of Hatred procs. So it's going to allow you to cast more Chaos Strikes Annihilations by taking Unbound Chaos, which is going to therefore give you more Cycle of Hatred procs, which is going to therefore give you reduced cooldown on I-beam, therefore more I-beams, therefore firstly the damage from I-beam, and secondly the Sinful brand extending from I-beam. So it's going to make your Sinful brand uptimes higher, and also you're going to get that damage back that you lose on kind of like your details window. You know, Glaive Tempest will appear quite high compared to Fell Rush, but you've got to just remember that that damage, that you like, the difference is kind of being baked back into Annihilation casts, I-beam casts, and Sinful brand uptime. So it does work out similar, and Unbound Chaos is really nice. I feel like it also makes the spec less clunky. I feel quite clunky having to save up Fury to make sure I Glaive Tempest on cooldown and stuff. And one extra thing is that Glaive Tempest only really excels between 2 and 6 targets. Unbound Chaos is better on single target, which is, you know, the DH niche doing boss damage, and any amount of targets after 6 as well. That's when Fell Rush and Unbound Chaos becomes better. So, the more you know. So next one, moving on, is Stones versus Oils and Agipots versus Phantom Fire Pots. What I'm referring to here is Sharpening Stones versus Shadowcore Oils, which is like the things you put on your weapons. And then Agility Pots versus Phantom Fire Pots. Agility being kind of just buffing your agility, which will work on everything around you. Phantom Fire is more of a single target oriented one. Now, Phantom Fire potions have an interaction with Shadowcore Oils, which will proc more Phantom Fires if you have Shadowcore Oils on. And stones are just buffing your overall attack power by 20 per stone. So if you're having 2 weapons, then there's 40 attack power just on everything. So they kind of, you can kind of put 2 and 2 together. Stones is kind of like a mini agility potion, and Oils is like a mini Phantom Fire, which also synergizes with it. So I would recommend that you run Oils and Phantom Fire on like pure single target, like absolutely pure single target, you know, raid bosses that you care about, just your single target on the boss, and pretty much never in Mythic Plus unless you really need like extra boss damage on Tyrannical or something. But your safe bet that you pretty much can't go wrong with, and even on single target is probably like only a minor bit less than a Phantom Fire and Oil combo, will be running Double Sharpening Stone and the Agility Potions. You basically can't go wrong with that one. But if you want to like completely optimize single target, then I would run Oils and Phantom Fires together just for, you know, prio damage. So which Soulbind do I play? Pretty much Nadia, as I mentioned earlier in the video. Nadia in almost all situations. Thrill Seeker's really good. Fatal Flaw's really good. You can have Dauntless Duelist, which is extra single target damage, and you can switch that out for a third potency conduit if you would like to. Regarding third potency conduits, which ones are useful, as I've kind of touched on, Dancing with Fate can be used. The other one people like to use is Increased Scrutiny, although personally myself, I think that one's a bit of a crutch for playing bad. And another one which is kind of a bit more edgy pick, Adaptive Armor Fragment. I would run with, I would say that the overall safe solution or safe bet would be to just go right side on Nadia and go with Dauntless Duelist. You want to be getting as much value from that as you can. It just always works. It always gives you damage for free and a bit of mitigation too. But if you want to be a bit more edgy and, you know a bit more in depth about this, I do have a video again on my channel about Soulbinds and Conduits and everything. So check that one out down below. Is Chaos Theory viable? Yes, on Halondrus pretty much only, with Demon Blades and the Wind Fury Totem. So it's, again, quite hard to actually get the proper setup to play with Chaos Theory. That is the legendary, which every time you Blade Dance, I'll put it on screen for you now, every time you Blade Dance, you have a chance to get a proc of Chaos Theory, which will make your Annihilation stick harder and guarantee you a Cycle of Hatred proc, which obviously is going to help you reset your I-Beam. So this one works quite well with Venthyr, works much better on Halondrus, the reason being that you can't miss your hits on him, so you can run with Demon Blades, and you will actually see really good results in that fight. I'll have a video about Chaos Theory coming soon, so if it's uploaded, I'll link again to that video, but right now at time of uploading I don't have that one out. Just remember that if you do try out Chaos Theory, that you're only Blade Dancing or Death Sweeping when you have 80 or more Fury. That way you can follow it up if you do get a proc on Chaos Theory with a lot of Annihilation is going to be refunding, meaning that you can get those procs, because you don't want to be caught without any Fury when you do get that Chaos Theory proc. Next question then, is Night Fae viable versus Venthyr? Recently I made a Night Fae guide. I've had a lot of people say, oh, it's so awesome, Night Fae is so much more fun, but is it viable? Can I play this instead of Venthyr? The answer is it depends really how hard you're trying. If you're trying really hard and you want to be pushing the max level of content that your character can physically do, if you're pushing yourself to the limits, you should just admit defeat and accept your fate that it's going to be playing Venthyr for the most part. So yes, it's playable, but do just bear in mind that it will always be subpar compared to Venthyr. Personally, I play Venthyr for like keys that I'm pushing with, and then I switch Night Fae if if I don't really care too much, or if I'm just messing around doing some weeklies, helping out some friends, playing with some viewers on stream or something, then I'll like switch it up a little bit, give myself a bit of a break from the monotony of Venthyr Demon Hunter. In general, I would say that you can remain competitive in keys for maybe up to like 2 levels less than what would be your max push, if that makes sense. So for example, if you currently push plus 22s, maybe you can get away playing Night Fae in up to 20s. If you push plus 25s, maybe Night Fae in up to 23s or something, right? This gap is a little bit smaller in dungeons like Mists, which are, most of the packs like 5 targets. Night Fae works really well on those, and also maybe you need a Night Fae anyway because Mists to open the gates and things and activate the acorns or seeds. Again, this could be used on maybe Theatre of Pain or something like that as well, or Streets, and I would say it's closer to Venthyr on Fortified. Venthyr will absolutely run away on Tyrannical, but on Fortified you can maybe get away with running Night Fae a little bit closer to Venthyr, so just bear that in mind. Try it out and see what your results are. And then the last one I have to finish off is, can I play First Blood with Venthyr? Kind of touched on this again earlier. Yes, you can, but no, it's not optimal. It's like a scuffed in between of Night Fae and Venthyr. I've got a couple videos on First Blood Venthyr again on the channel. I would recommend that you play actually Nadia with 3 potency conduits if you do play this, and go with increased scrutiny and dancing with fate as your conduits, along with growing inferno obviously. And yeah, just try it out. It's called like a sync play style. You'll be syncing basically every single Sinful brand with 1 increased duration I-beam through collective anguish, but it will be dropping off, so you won't have 100% uptime with this, but you do get to press play, dance, and death sweep. So if you like that kind of stuff, then give it a try. Again, I'll link the video down below. So there you have it, guys. I didn't really get to drink much of my tea. I kind of just rattled through this whole video, and I didn't really get too much chance to finish it off, but I'm going to go ahead and enjoy this one now. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Feel free to give it a like if you're still here. Hopefully it helped you in one way or another. Feel free to check out the stream, twitch.tv/JustRuss. Feel free to check out the Patreon. I'll link that in the description down below. The Patreons will be appearing on screen for you now. If you're interested in that, then give it a check out. There's some cool stuff on there. I'm hoping to expand that out. So if you got any suggestions for that kind of stuff, like rewards you'd want to see on the Patreon, do let me know in the comments or come over to the stream or whatever. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Have a great day. And I'll see you in the next one as always. Peace.